Are there many street markets in your country?
Yes, there are. I think people really like street markets, and there are lots of different kinds of them. The most popular ones would be traditional street markets, flea markets, and antique markets.
What do street markets sell?
It depends on what sort of market it is. Traditional markets usually sell fruits, vegetables, and some kinds of food. People often sell handmade products in flea markets, and there are many different kinds of street markets selling different stuff.
What are the differences between street markets and supermarkets?
I think products. In street markets, there are lots of unique products. But in supermarkets, there are only ready-made products.
Do you often go to the supermarket?
Not really, only a few times a month. I don't really have time to go to supermarkets, and I don't like grocery shopping. I really don't like going to supermarkets. Well, if I have another chance, I'd read the Harry Potter series again. I spent my teenage years with this book, and the series was also released as movies. It's a novel based on a magical world. The main character, Harry Potter, is a person who survived from the attack of a dark wizard, Lord Voldemort, and throughout the story, Harry goes on an adventure to defeat him. Actually, I read it quite a lot of times, but I first read it when I was 14 years old. This book was sensational at that time, and I got so into it. I really loved reading Harry Potter series. This book is so famous, and I love fantasy novels in general. This one is one of my favorites since it's really thrilling. I always got surprised whenever I read the new books, and I remember it was always interesting. Also, it reminds me of my school life. I used to read this book with my friends at school, and we used to talk about it a lot. I think reading it again would remind me of my friends and being a teenager. It was great fun. I really want to read it again as soon as possible.
How often do you read?
Well, I read quite frequently, almost every weekend. I read around 5 or 6 books every month.
What kinds of materials should people read?
I think people definitely need to read newspapers so they can read about current affairs and build up some common senses. Also, reading magazine articles would help them to expand their knowledge on a certain topic.
What kinds of people are most likely to read ebooks?
Well, ebooks are really popular nowadays, so people who only have some time to read tend to read ebooks. Actually, I read an article saying some elderly people prefer to read ebooks as they can enlarge the text when it's too small.
Why do people learn classical literature?
Because they like reading stories about the past, I guess. Actually, one of my friends studied classics because he loves reading literature, analyzing the context, and learning about ancient languages in literature.
Bestsellers like Harry Potter are being adapted into movies. Why do people love this kind of movie?
I think it touches people's heart when a fantasy novel gets adapted into a film because of its stunning scenes, and it attracts people with well-organized story. They can actually see the story on the big screen, what they have imagined while reading the book.
What is the difference between movies and books?
Well, to me, a book is basically any written, printed, or illustrated work with a specific topic. So, people need to imagine what it would be like while reading. But films are like the mix of visual and oral clues so people can show their emotions while watching it.